What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with this guest posing appearance of the reigning Arnold Classic champion in Classic Physique, Wesley Vissers. So this usually do not happen. Guys, especially those guys who are potentially gonna be fighting for the Olympia title, or even the guys who are potentially gonna be in the top 6. They do not normally guest pose this close to the show. But we saw the complete physique update from Wesley Vissers. So the idea that Chris Bumstead is just unbeatable, that was already put to rest last year by Ramondino, when he was able to push him extremely hard. And after watching this update of Wesley, it is perfectly clear that C-Bum needs to bring his A game. He needs to be 100% on. So it doesn't really matter what the outcome of Classic Physique this year will be. One thing is certain, C-Bum is gonna get the toughest battle of his life, ever since he started competing, or more specifically, ever since he started winning the Olympia. And he needs to be absolutely spot on. Otherwise, anything is possible. So looking at this physique of Wesley and comparing it to this past Arnold Classic look, boy did he put on some quality muscle, and that too everywhere. His quads are looking noticeably bigger. His hamstrings are looking drastically better. And that was all he needed. Because the thing is, that was the feedback given to him by the judges after this year's Arnold, that he needs better hamstrings and better glutes. So I don't think there is even a single guy in Classic Physique who looks bigger and more muscular than Wesley, especially in comparison to this new version of Wesley. So the major reason why Wesley was able to make such massive improvements in such a short period of time is due to the fact that he stayed so regimented and so disciplined even in the off-season as he stays in the prep. And the results are just insane. I mean, if Wesley is able to win the Classic Physique Olympia title, and I know the chances of that happening are kinda little, but if he manages to pull it off, it will be one of the biggest stories in bodybuilding, that a guy who placed 7th last year, he goes on to win the entire damn thing, and that too against one of the most dominant champion that we have seen in the recent past, and it will definitely be an upset. So yesterday we saw the update, and a very impressive one of Ramondino, looking all muscular and really full, and today it's Wesley. So I have to say it is absolutely game on in Classic Physique Miss Olympia. Next up we have a 1 week out physique update from Wilkin. So I think all of you guys will agree that this has to be the best picture of Brett, not just during this prep, but throughout his entire professional career. Now he doesn't get the credit, but Brett's midsection, that is looking so damn insane. He always had those deep separated abs, but especially in this prep, Brett has been so conscious about his waistline, doing several rounds of daily morning vacuums. And I think this is gonna pay off big time on the stage. So we are living in a great bodybuilding era at the moment, where everyone in the men's open bodybuilding wants to show up with a small waist, have those classic lines, and also have a very good V-taper. In short, have that crazy X-frame. So the top 2 guys in the world, they are the masters of hitting those vacuums, and the other guys are really following them. So I wish the Legion Sports where Wilkin is competing next weekend, that and France Pro, they weren't scheduled on the same weekend, because the competition will be split in 2 different shows. So a guy like Andrea Presti, he has already announced that he is going for France Pro. So Wilkin is the one who is entering Legion Sports as the favorite to win it. And he also has a very solid chance of earning his Olympia 2025 qualification at the earliest possible stage. So there was a time a few years back when Wilkin called out Patrick Moore on calling himself the future. Now we all know that trend has already passed for Patrick Moore, but we are gonna find out soon enough which one of these guys comes out on top. And keep in mind, these guys are gonna be going up against each other for the very first time. So I guess Rafael Brandao kills all the doubts that were on everyone's mind after seeing him not showing up at his all-time best, or not bringing his best conditioning at this year's Arnold Brazil, with this 20 days out physique update from his 2nd ever Miss Olympia. I have to say, right on the money. So the greatest of all time, Ronnie Coleman watched him posing just a few weeks back, and he was extremely impressed with Rafael's conditioning, and he still had plenty of time to go till this year's Miss Olympia at that time. And the only reason Brandao did not look as impressive at the Arnold Brazil, which happened in April, was that his body was already burnt out, because his prep for this year's Arnold Classic in Columbus, that was already a very long one. And I have to say, the man looked extremely impressive at the Arnold in Ohio. That was just extraordinary. And some people even had him beating Samson Dauda in multiple shots at the Arnold in Columbus this year. And the reason, of course, was the difference of conditioning between both these guys. But the size difference was also there, And we also saw that Rafael Brandao was still lacking some size and some density in all the areas, especially in comparison to a guy like Samson. Now on the flip side, Rafael is one of the most aesthetic physiques in the men's open bodybuilding at the moment. So when Chris Bumstead was asked, how does he feels he's gonna compare in the men's open bodybuilding, he just mentioned one name at that time, and that was Rafael Brandao as a reference, in the context that he has kind of a similar shape as Rafael. And I'm gonna say it is kinda laughable at this point that people wanted him to switch to classic physique division. He is men's open all day long, and he will definitely be looking to crack top 7 at the Olympia this year at least. Now I do have to say that Rafael at this year's Olympia, he won't look considerably bigger in comparison to what we saw at this year's Arnold, but he will definitely be more mature and more denser. So him versus Martin Fitzwater, that is gonna be a good comparison. Just look at those arms on the former Miss Olympia Brandon Curry. So you will never hear a single word from Brandon. You will never see him pissed off, despite him being so disrespected and being counted out all the time. I mean, we all see these predictions being made, and 99% of the people, they do not have Brandon in their top 6. And just like every year, Brandon is gonna show up at the Olympia stage and let his physique do all the talking. So what is gonna be his game plan for 2024? That is the real question at the moment. Will he try to come in full as a house, but not very sharp, just the way he showed up at the Olympia 2022? Or will he go back to his Olympia 2020 look, where he wasn't that big, but he was really shredded and he was really conditioned? And that is actually a very underrated version of Brandon, because if you guys remember, that was the only time when he was able to beat one of the greatest of all time, Phil Heath. So another factor is that Brandon was working with Abdullah since 2017, and this is the first time in 8 years there is a different team around him, and it is kind of exciting that he can show up totally different and he can really shock the bodybuilding world. But the question right now is that, can he make all those Olympia predictions come wrong in 20 days time? Now honestly, I do not see him beating a guy like Samson Dauda or Andrew Jack, let alone Hadi Chopin or Derek. So a top 5 finish this year, that is gonna be one hell of an accomplishment. But do let me know what you guys think. The official Miss Olympia LLC just published a new badass poster for this year's Miss Olympia, featuring Derek and Hadi Chopin as the frontrunners. So this is no disrespect to any of the other competitors, because both these guys have been top 2 in the last 2 years, and there was quite a lot of gap between them and the 3rd place finisher in the world, and they deserve to be featured as the biggest stars in current bodybuilding at the moment. So are we gonna see a repeat of Ronnie vs Jay or Phil vs Kai rivalry, where we had these same 2 guys battling it out for a number of years? So the reigning Miss Olympia Derek Lisford certainly thinks that way, and he did speak about this fact that as of right now, him and Hadi have this great rivalry, and just looking at the sheer amount of improvements both of them have been able to make for 2024, it is gonna take something really special from a guy like Andrew Jack or Samson Dauda to beat them. So what do you guys think? Are we gonna have the same top 2 as we have been seeing in the last 2 years? I personally think that Andrew Jack is the one who can win the Olympia title next year, if not this year. But do let me know what you guys think. And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.